So I'm gonna go ahead and call our work session to order. Our first order of business is gonna be Ethan Frazier. He's wanting to be de-annexed from Argo into Trustful. He came before us at the last meeting, and at that meeting, he said that the property that he's wanting to de-annex had been given to him through his family, and he's wanting his children to be able to attend Trustful school, and so therefore he's wanting to be de-annexed from the city of Argo. So do y'all have any? He doesn't, but he said if he had any future children, he would like to do it. Anybody have anything to say?
I've never been in favor of annexing property out of our city.
I think you have to look at it.
I'm on record for saying that.
Well, I think you have to look at everybody individually. We're here to serve people, make their lives better. And it's just granted, it ain't like, it's where he grew up. He grew up next door to him in the house next door. It's his grandmother's place to start with.
We did a map today, and there's areas around that still Argo. Matter of fact, there's 10 and 10.
Well,
Trustful has 10 parcels right in there, and Argo has 10.
you
So-
see everybody else in Argo's across the road. And there's a thing, something we're going in the future have to deal with too, is we're gonna have to share responsibility for that road with Trustful. And especially,
You're talking about Will Keith Road?
whichever one this is that runs
That's okay.
between them. We're gonna end up having to share responsibility for it. And especially if we do have that one piece of property, our lawyer needs to look into that for us.
Yeah, probably not there.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the road up here, this road.
Still on that side of the road.
And we may have to end up maintaining part of that road, one half,
When you're talking about honor key,
both of them now. They're
it's fresh pay.
10 years from now, it won't be. Like I said, it's a family thing to them, and these are relatives that live around them, and they ride to school together or try to.
If I recall, when,
These are all people, I understand that, those are all people that bought out, and, well, that's David Gould right there, and he's part of it too.
when Foxwood and all them were de-annexed several years back, I thought that there was something said that it was gonna be a one-time thing. Anybody wanted out, they were gonna have to, do it then.
But the road, I don't think that's even the right lot,
Yeah, it is.
is it?
Yeah, I rode down there, that's the right lot. Sure is.
Well, they don't live
And
on
Honor
it.
Keith is the one that they fresh paved all the way down. Will Keith is not paved, it's paved all the way down there. They rode down that one.
Well,
According to Jefferson County and St. Clair.
The house they're
One right
talking
across
about's not on the corner.
I know, it's back.
Yeah, this is, what I'm looking at is showing it to be on the corner.
No, but his lot runs all the way to the corner. It doesn't run all the way to the corner.
That's David Gould's on the corner.
There's no house on the corner. There is on the other side of the street, but not on that side, there's not.
We're not looking at it right. There's something wrong here with the map.
There's an older house that sits down there on the right.
Well, this house is a newer brick one that sits on the hill before you get down to the intersection.
According to
It's-
according to the address that Tommy and I pulled up, using Mr. Frazier's address, this is the piece of property right there.
So on that lot, where is his house based? Do we know that? Doesn't have to be there.
Well, okay, so this is the old white house, old white. What was the man's last name?
Frazier,
No, I know that, the people he bought from.
Cunningham. He bought from Doris Cunningham, sold to Ethan Frazier in May the 23rd of 2014.
The house I'm understanding that they're wanting out is across the road over here, is that one, but it's already out, if this is right. And that's
There's the
David
thing,
Gould's
Jefferson
house.
County.
Yeah, I understand that. And this is the St. Clair County line? That would be his grandparents' old house, the first house, and that's the old white farmhouse. It sits on the right-hand side of the road as you're going
He
down.
said he owned two pieces of property right in here. From
Yeah,
what he-
that one and the one right behind his own building.
You're talking about, it's already in trust?
That's
One
the
piece of
house
property.
there, that he owns that property and that house right there is the house he's talking about. So it is that full corner.
Okay, see, that's
That's
his,
the one he got.
that's where-
last week.
I misunderstood. I thought he wanted this house out. That was his grandmother and grandfather's first house, then they built this. That's David Gould's house.
The house that's right across the street right here, that one is in Argo too, because he told us that night it was in Argo.
Yeah, David Gould lives in that house.
And it's Argo.
And this was Mr. and Miss Frazier's, is the boy's grandparents. And then this was their house before they
That's
built that
his-
house.
That's his aunt that lives there is what he
It's
told
all
us.
family in there, most of it still is. David's his uncle, and his daddy lives right along here in one of these houses.
This is part number.
I brought mine so I could bring it up on the other stuff, on the other property.
Look at the county tax, county GIS stuff, I can't tell which one it is, which line it
Did you see that?
I would-
That's that line.
Well, I've got mine pulled up on that other, the Margaret stuff. But I'm satisfied,
He owns that lot too.
yeah. What's, what I'm saying, that is the old farmhouse. This was his grandmother and grandfather's place when they died, but this was their place beforehand. They built a more modern brick house up here, they lived there beforehand.
is.
We're gonna bring it up tonight if somebody wants to bring it up for a vote or what, so everybody's had a chance to look at this. And, some of you's even wrote out there and looked. So I think, that he's wanting an answer from us, so we'll bring it up, if somebody wants to bring it up. it's up.
I'll make a motion, and if somebody wants to second, okay, I feel like I'm on by myself on it, but I'll make a motion, and nobody seconds it, so be it, and if we'll be through with it one way or the other. If people want to vote for it, that's fine too.
Okay, the update on the NLC conference, Amanda, you want to tell them what you've done and where we stand with that?
The conference registrations are in, and then we have 3 rooms reserved. The credit card won't be charged for the rooms until February 17th, and they're only going to take a 10% of the total until check-in. So when you check in, they'll charge the rest of the price on the card too. But as far as the reimbursement for the conference itself, that'll be due the 20th of this month. So credit cards due around the 23rd, so if we can get reimbursement for that, and then I'll get totals this week for you guys for the conference.
Okay, well, you want to go ahead and do it, the update on the training with Andrea?
She'll be here the 30th, so that's Friday morning. And August is balanced and closed out. It's not closed, I'm sorry. August is balanced, and so we're going to close it out Friday and begin on September's. And so once it's closed out, the budget will be ready to be looked at. So the numbers will be ready.
Okay, there's going to be resolution 2016-12-02, and Tony's going to be, Aldridge is going to be handling that. He's got a resolution to read. Since this involves a relative of mine, I've abstained from anything, so Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge is going to be handling that. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Okay.
Is there a certain way that, let me ask Scott, is there a certain way we need to handle that since what this resolution authorized has already been done, essentially?
Well, there's,
That release has been signed.
right, if you wanted to pass the resolution that's before you, you might want to insert, ratification of the actions previously taken, i.e. signature. You all voted on the subject matter last time, and you approved basically what you've already done. But you want to formalize it in the form of a resolution, you need to insert authorizing and ratifying. So, either Amanda I-1 would just insert an approval / ratification somewhere in throughout the document.
Do we need to table this resolution then until the next meeting to do that?
I don't think so. I think you just go forward and approve it as it's written, understanding that you'll be also ratifying the actions you've already done.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
Did you say, Scott, that I meant to list in there that it would be a ratification? Is that what you suggested?
Right, this would be, for instance, if I may, and you and I can talk about it too. For instance, authorizing the mayor pro tem signature on the settlement agreement with State Farm, and authorizing his signature, authorizing and ratifying his signature. Basically, you're putting in writing that you're authorizing him to sign, and ratifying it because he has previously done what the council voted on. This is just formalizing what the action previously taken.
Okay, Ronnie wanted us to bring up the PO and receipt discussion again.
Yeah, we need to set some limits, dollar amount limits on that, how much they can spend without mayor's approval, and then how much they can spend without council approval on PO. If not, it's an open checkbook.
What is your
I
suggestion?
think 500 is the mayor's approval. It's up to y'all, I mean, that's,
I think 500 is a little much.
but say 250.
So what you're saying is the amount of money that.
Amount of money that they can get the PO for prior to going and purchasing something, or they gotta have the receipt to purchase
We
before she
talked about
approves
that
it.
last time,
Yeah.
except
We didn't
establish an amount.
establish any numbers on it.
What do the other towns do?
I haven't been able to check anybody either.
Are you familiar with?
There are, it's all across the board.
Yes.
It is, and, for instance, some do it with authorization, as long as it's budgeted, budget for that detail. If it's, some do it with a dollar limit, and the amount is all over the board. And, so if it's,
I know Trussell's they've got a limit you can spend up to without having to go to the mayor.
So you're saying you want them to be able to purchase something up to $500 without a PO?
No, with the PO, but anything over the amount of $500, they have to have your approval
that's,
to be able
that was my
to
understanding.
spend over $500.
Yeah.
That was my
And then
understanding.
over a certain, whatever another dollar amount, it has to come before council, so.
And she's not
whatever
supposed to
you set,
issue a purchase order number unless
Unless they
it's
have
below
written
that amount.
documentation, yeah.
Well, we also decided to put a dollar amount on something that could be purchased in case of emergency.
Emergencies,
for
yeah.
lack of a better terminology.
Yeah, birds.
Lower than that, it doesn't require your approval.
What would allow them $100, they can buy up to $100 on the PO, then anything over that has to go to Betty, and then anything over 500, it has to go before the council.
Well,
I think if it's budgeted, if it's in a budgeted amount.
well, but it, like the,
If it's in the budget.
putting diesel fuel in the fire engine, you're gonna be running more than 100. Do we do it with a credit card or?
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to come up and explain how you do it now?
And the police chief sitting back there too, they, well,
Well, he's talking about the fire department right now, and then we're going to get James up here too.
well, they're both be done this summer.
Basically, we just work within our budget, what's actually a budgeted item. The only thing we have more or less a freedom kind of sort of thing to spend. As long as it's within our budget, we make purchases as needed. Anytime a purchase is made, a PO is made out and presented with the bill. She's under instruction not to pay anything unless it has a purchase order attached to it. some things you just can't purchase and have an exact dollar amount.
Okay, Ann and I noticed something the other day, like, for instance, we noticed a file cabinet had been bought for $290-something, in there, and I'm assuming you bought it for the office back there,
Right.
or something
Made that
like.
move, we had to secure it, that's what I discussed with you that day. Things have to be secured.
Okay, but you didn't discuss buying a file cabinet, for the $290. So, Ronnie, you're saying like if he needed to go buy a file cabinet, he has the authority to do that without consulting me, but then, just as long as he does a PO, is that what
He
you're?
does the PO, yeah.
And has
To a
it
certain
just-
dollar amount if it's in his budget, and if you set budget restraints, then they have to
250
come
would be a little bit too low.
Yeah, I'm thinking about stuff that's not in the regular budget.
Budget, yeah.
The stuff that's not in the regular budget comes before us anyway, don't it?
There's things like bunker code, the code itself is gonna be almost $700.
But that would be a budget item.
But it's a budget item, exactly.
I think when they talk to some cities and see
Why
what
don't
we
we
do.
look back and see what your average purchase, we got canceled checks or something, we can look back at the check register and kind of get an average of what day-to-day operating cost on items like that. Is that,
Or how many unforeseen, non-budgeted items would fall within that
That's what I'm
category.
talking
I think that's
about.
what importance.
Can I ask, and I've seen different interpretations of budgeted items. For instance, you could say, equipment, well, that's
That's a
very
big-
broad, so it could be budgeted, but it could be under, $5,000 line item that says equipment. So be sure you're understanding and authorizing what you think you are. For instance, I've seen some instances where other cities, their department heads, if it's equipment and they get close to the end of the year and if they know they're not gonna spend that, it's inside their budget, and so they use it for something else inside their budget. So you gotta understand what he's thinking, or understand what you're thinking about a budgeted item. And so if it's strictly budgeted and you're gonna hold the departments to that, the way it's written in the budget, then you're doing what you say you're doing.
we want to be responsible, but we don't want to cripple them at the same time.
Exactly. That's why you have to understand, what you're.
The final line comes to us that we're responsible for where the money goes at the end, but still don't want to cripple
As
them.
long as you understand what budgeted item is. If
Can I
that-
say something? I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything or not during work sessions, but as an accountant, I've never had a client or a business that didn't have limits on budgeted items. Because even though it's in the budget, doesn't mean the money's in the bank. So as a precaution, I just wanted to remind y'all of that.
While you're here, Mike, would you go ahead and, talk about what happened with the jail, the phone and stuff in the truck?
We had to make an emergency purchase, and it's not a budget item, but it's an emergency like a repair. We use a AFFF foam, aqueous form filming foam. It allows us to fight a gasoline or oil or anything that you're not supposed to spray water on to fight fire. That allows us to do that. It's a chemical that's added to the water and sprays that it comes to a foam. It makes a blanket and it cools the fire and eliminates the oxygen coming to the fire basically. It's an extremely expensive. It's about $888 best I can tell. We ordered 6 5-gallon pails of it. That's how much it costs to replace it. I don't know exactly dollar amount because they couldn't tell me because you have to ship that by freight. Freight doesn't have where they can figure in their computer exactly what it costs, like if they were sent it by UPS or something, it's already predetermined. So it's about $888. I'm asking for a $900 approval. That's what I talked to the mayor about. But anyway, it's supposed to be a consistency of about a syrup, a white syrup. This, for some reason, something got contaminated or something in the system, and it turned into like a jelly. So of course the pump that pulls it, injects it into the water, and the big pump in the fire truck wouldn't digest it, wouldn't pull it through, it just wouldn't run down to the pump. It was a big fat mess is what it was, but we spent some time, about 2.5 hours, cleaning all that out of the tank and out of the system, and we got it out, we just have to have new to put it back in. And we went ahead and ordered it because we don't know when the next fire is gonna be, you know, when the next time we're gonna have it. So we just, me and the mayor and councilperson made a decision to go ahead and order it because we gotta have it.
Has that happened before? I mean, is that something highly,
It does happen, when it goes out of date, usually that happens, that phone's about 4 years old, but it should have a longer shelf life. We talked to the manufacturer, they can't give us an answer, but they said it's got contaminated, that was their reasoning. It's basically a sealed system. I mean, it's got a cap where you can pour it out of a 5-gallon jug into the system, but that, in other words, they're not gonna warranty it.
in your knowledge, has that ever happened before? Have you ever heard of it ever happening?
Phone does go, yeah, it does go bad, it does go bad, and that's what happens when it goes bad.
How many buckets does the engine hold?
We keep
For
6
this
pails
device?
on each truck.
You keep what?
We keep 6 pails on each truck.
Did you find out what the lifespan was if it's inside the truck itself?
They won't
Out
guarantee.
of the pail? If the
After
pail's a
you
20
break the seal on the pail, they won't guarantee anything.
Okay.
That's
Because the
about
pail's
the
a 20 to 25 year lifespan, is what it says
Right.
shelf life.
If it's sealed and if there's a lot of ifs in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't freeze.
It's properly stored.
Should we be keeping a few extra pails on hand?
That's what I asked you. I'm just.
Usually if we use it, it's billed out to whoever we used it for. It's considered a hazardous material spill after that. And by state law, whoever the trucking company is or whatever has to reimburse us for that. But there's nobody to bill or reimbursement, it just goes bad in the tank.
We've never had that happen in Argo before, since you've been here.
We've had some, on the brush truck, we've had a few things go like that. We're only talking a gallon or 2 at a time, not a major, the whole system going.
Has it come in yet?
No, no.
How much do you put into the system at a time? 5 gallons or the whole?
You put, there's a 20-gallon tank on top of the truck, and it mixes it with anywhere from 3 to 6% mixture.
But it takes four buckets to load the truck.
Yes.
So you've got 4 buckets in reserve that we won't unseal until
We'll have 2, we'll have 2.
up to
We're at 6 pails. We ordered the minimum amount without, some more approval to get any more, but we needed that just to keep us what we needed to do to fight fire.
I think we need, if it takes 4, we need to keep 4 on reserve too, if it lasts
So
20
you have
years.
you have to order at least 6 each time you order?
We can order 5 at a time, or, 1 pail at a time was a 5-gallon jug. It was just so expensive, I didn't want, we don't want to keep, without making a plan, obviously like what y'all talking about tonight.
But we need to be able to replenish the truck if they go out and use it.
But if you use 4 tonight, then you'll have 4 in reserve.
No.
You have 2.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have any for the other,
He's got it.
Correct.
you only got it for 1 truck.
I got, on each truck has its own setup.
Yeah.
I have another truck we could use,
Right.
but that particular system required a certain kind of phone, a certain mixture.
The 2 trucks are not compatible.
That's another thing they said, if you mix any of the foam outside the same batch, you have a chance of gel. Basically, they've made it that they've touched and beat all around the subject, blaming it on you for any reason it would go gel.
My thing would be, you as a department head, to figure out why it went gel, if it were our responsibility, just to see, just for your own knowledge of knowing
Right.
what could have happened and what steps can be taken to ensure that that doesn't happen, if it was something that was even done here at all. That might be something you could be looking at from now and forever.
That's why our
and never
conversation with the
figure out.
manufacturer was about things
Right.
like that. I couldn't tell you without being a chemist or something like that.
Right.
But it's like paint you've opened or anything, once you've opened it, the shelf life, you go back to it.
I don't have a good answer for you because they weren't able to supply me with a good answer, the people that made it. I wish I could, but
And gas in a carburetor, it gels over time, even though you know it's not
Anybody else have
anything
any more
validated.
questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. James, would you mind coming up and telling us about your PO system and
Well, we do the same thing Mike does, we get the bill in, but talking about our gas bills, we've got a gas card like Fuel Man. When you put the card in, it's got an operated number, that number's assigned to that officer. You put the mileage in, it's assigned to that car. End of the month, you'll see there's a bill, it goes about, what, 1,000, 1,200 a month, something like that. But other pills, like uniforms, we'll get the bill from McCain, we'll put the purchase order on the bill and bring it and give it to Amanda.
And that's what you do too, right?
So you bring the purchase order to Amanda.
And we've got our own purchase orders out there, it's got Argo Police Department on it. Just like his, it's got Argo Fire Department on
What
it.
we're trying to do is get.
We put the purchase order, we'll write McCain's uniform, what it's for.
So y'all don't get a purchase order before you order, you go ahead and order, then bring the purchase order?
Bring the bill and the purchase order and give it to Amanda.
See, what we're trying to eliminate is we want to make sure that the expenditures that are being made in the departments are necessary. So we're trying to put a system in place that shows that you get the purchase order from the clerk to start with, and then when she gives you that purchase order, then you purchase what you're going to get, and then you bring the receipt back to her. That's what
we've been doing, everything's just budgeted item, we put it in, but we can do it either way.
The way you want to do it, I understand what you're saying, but if I damage a flashlight on fire, when one firefighter damage one of our flashlights, we have to replace it. That's not a line item per se ticket on our budget, but it would come out of our equipment budget.
But what we're saying is, we're gonna give you can buy a flashlight. We're trying to establish what limit y'all need. Y'all tell us what limit y'all think you need. Is it $500 purchase? Above that's a purchase order number, or,
Still gotta have a purchase order number.
yeah, you know,
Anything that says police and fire on it is expensive.
yeah, say that way.
What does the flashlight cost? Let's just say you said a flashlight, what does the flashlight cost?
The flashlights like the string lights like we use, the small ones range anywhere from 120, and they go on up to $250.
But they ought to be able to buy that without us have a meeting.
So does somebody want to set a limit as to what that they should be allowed to spend without a purchase order?
That's what I'm asking y'all, what do y'all think's reasonable?
I think you gotta tell us what you think's reasonable.
Cause it's not just gonna be you, it's some of your men and stuff too. You know, we all gotta be responsible.
I mean, do you spend over $500 at a time? I know you do with phones and stuff like that.
Right, I
But
mean, $500 would work for me. I mean, it's just a matter of coming to the mayor and saying, I got this coming up, we need to make this purchase.
As long as we know it's coming up, we can bring it to you.
It's just being accountable for taxpayer dollars, it's
Yeah.
not.
But like maintenance, we don't know what, it's a line item in maintenance, but it's a dollar amount. It's not an alternator, tires. It's, we don't know what's gonna happen.
But you'll know when shop calls you and say, hey, it's gonna be X amount of dollars,
Right, yeah.
then you know what you gotta come to the mayor
Correct.
and get done.
It's just hard to fine tune. There's no way we know what's gonna happen throughout the year.
But we need to
We
make
know what
sure,
some
we
things
need to
we
know
want,
that
but-
we can get the purchase order that day and carry it to the people.
In the past, when I've had a lot of things come up during the year that wasn't actually a line item, but it was equipment, and the state of Alabama changes the rules on us on a regular basis as well. Different things they require to have in the EMS bags and, medical equipment you gotta have. So you just gotta go out and buy it, you have no choice. But just say you gave me $10,000 for equipment that year, something in the past, what I've done in my budget is something's been sacrificed to make that purchase. So that at the end of the year, it's still not over $10,000, if that makes sense. That's what we've done in the past. We don't have,
Yeah, that was the last thing that was said.
We're saying they can issue their own purchase orders for up to 500, and then
No, I think they still need to come.
You still gotta come to Amanda and get a purchase order.
for a $25 flashlight.
I mean, they can spend up to, like, everywhere y'all, limit y'all said, but I still think they need to have a purchase order to be able to turn it, so they can turn that back into Amanda, so she knows what's been purchased, and whether it be on a credit card or.
So $500 for each purchase order, no approval required. And then anything above that, mayoral approval required and purchase.
Everything
We're
needs a
saying the
purchase
same
order.
thing.
Yeah. Every bill we got done purchase order.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that's- we're saying the same thing.
So what is y'all's limit? What, y'all wanna set their limit as to what they can spend?
Does 500 suit y'all?
No worries.
All right.
That's what else I said,
And if that don't work, we'll address it again in 6 months or something. Don't that sound right?
You all right with that?
$500 with purchase order, no approval required, and above 500 mayoral approval.
They're still turning their receipts though, right?
Yeah, they still have to have a
Yeah,
receipt
they-
with all purchase
The-
orders.
They always turn in the purchase order and the receipt together.
Okay. So you're gonna bring that up?
And then that 500 is within their budget. right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
operating budget.
Yeah.
That's the-
$500 purchase order, get your approval, to Amanda, bring the receipts back after the purchase.
Yeah,
Is that the procedure you're
That's what
understanding?
I'm.
you have to match them up with the purchase order.
Yeah.
That, we do, everybody's office does it, I don't mind that.
Anybody else have anything else on that? Okay, Joe, the eight-door rental tax, which is the Alabama Department of Revenue, that, they were, came before us last time discussing the rental tax. We need to vote whether we want to do that or not. Anybody got anything to say about that?
I think we need to tie it to them pursuing our sales tax better. You know, building my house, I realized we're missing a lot of sales tax. And I asked them about it, and they said they were looking into it, but we need to make sure they are looking into it.
I believe what she said, they were gonna try to help us with the zip code.
That's the problem. Yeah, we got 3 zip codes, but we gotta deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win situation. I mean, it's not anything.
But we still need to stipulate that they're gonna work on our sales tax too, not just the rental.
Do you want to bring that up, Amy? First vote on it tonight?
I'm all for it.
Council, they had an informal discussion with me, they reiterated that to me verbally, that they would be working on improving the sales tax receipts and revenues. And in the event that the city saw that there was a taxpayer not remitting, that they would be happy to collect, whether buying through an audit or what have you. And so that was my understanding.
What's
verbally.
happening is, I bought appliances from Lowe's that were delivered here. I've got an Odell address, and I looked down through there, and the taxes were paid to Odell.
Because of the zips. so-
And they've gotta go through and do their homework and find out where we're at. And my lumber was the same way. And we're all paying the taxes, but we're letting them go somewhere else because of the zip code thing, the trustful address, you know what I'm talking about.
So you want me to make a motion?